In partnership with Small Fishers Federation of Sri Lanka, Sudeesa, Seacology is funding the first of its kind effort with combined 42 years of expertise of Seacology's environment protection and Sudeesa's microfinance and alternative livelihood training. Both organizations have developed 5-year plans under the legal partnership with the Ministry of Environment of Sri Lanka government to demarcate all of Sri Lanka's mangroves and protect over 33,000 acres of existing habitat. Establish 3 mangrove nurseries to produce 500,000 mangrove seedlings to replant over 8,500 acres of destructed mangrove land. Build a national museum and livelihood development center that will also serve alternative job training for 15,000 community organizations to protect 48 major lagoon systems with mangroves and undertake microloan activities. Newly created sustainable business. Formed 1,500 community organizations to protect mangroves in 48 major lagoon systems in 14 coastal districts of Sri Lanka. Around 300 women who were selected for Mangrove Protection Program for Mana district visited the Mangrove Conservation Centre. They engaged in a cordial discussion with Northwestern activists, and Tamil participants from Mana joined hands with their counterparts from Wayamba to coordinate the activities of the meeting. Manager of Seacology, Peterson, giving his opinion at the moment.
What you are starting is, you are starting something that's going to help your families, help your children, help your elders. Everyone in your community is going to be strengthened because of your efforts, because of your understanding that you can make a better life for yourself and your families while protecting such an important part of the environment. And it just makes me so happy and proud to see you all gathered here today. I know it was a long trip, it's a long, hot day for you, but I thank you from the bottom of my heart on behalf of all the Seacology staff, board of directors, and everyone else who has watched this program.
I am Sina Margaret of Mana. I attended 3-day workshop of Small Fishers Federation. I learned some practical things and obtained a 10,000 rupee loan. I earned from selling flour, which I grind at home. Home garden products including green chilies. Seacology provided financial grants.
All are working under the fascinating leadership of Dwayne Silverstein, the Executive Director of Seacology.
Seacology has been working with the Small Fishers Federation for over 15 years. There are many reasons why we chose Sri Lanka to be the site of our first national project. One is the great track record of Anuradha and the Fishers Federation. Another is Sri Lanka has 21 different species of mangroves here, which is a very, very large amount for any nation this size to have. Another is the wonderful people of Sri Lanka. And last and not least, it's just wonderful to have the government backing behind this. And Seacology as an NGO does not take partisan sides of who's in power or who's not. And so I'm really pleased that all parties have supported this and recognize this is not only a great gift for Sri Lanka, but it's a great gift for Sri Lanka.
Seacology is excited to be working with Sudeesa and the Sri Lankan government to make that nation the first in the world to effectively protect all of its mangrove forests. Mangroves not only harbour orders of magnitude more carbon than other types of forests, but their global warming ameliorating impacts last for longer than other land-based ecosystems. The project can serve as a mode for nation throughout the world.
Every single member of the Seacology board made a large gift to this project, particularly the board members who had come here to the Sudeesa headquarters and seen all the work that had been going on firsthand. And those particular board members had made very generous gifts. Yesterday was my first visit to the Sudeesa headquarters, and to see these nurseries propagating so many plants that will be replanted over a large area was amazing.
Concerning the importance of mangroves and poverty alleviation of poor coastal communities, Seacology has built up partnership with Sri Lanka government, World Food Programme of the United Nations and UNESCO. Sri Lanka's Small Fishers Federation, the Seacology and World Food Programme are successfully implementing a project. As a part of the project, Country Director and Regional Director Simon R. Holema visited the Mangrove Conservation Centre. Chairman of the Small Fishers Federation, Anuradha Vikramasinghe, and other officials warmly welcomed them. The delegates were delighted to witness the beauty of Pambala Mangrove Garden. Country Director of UN's World Food Programme expressed his thoughts throughout at the occasion.
The mangrove plantation can play a role in protecting the village from the erosion from seawater, and at the same time it can create a good habitat for fish, for crab, for aquatic life. It creates an excellent habitat for the breeding of fish and crab. So that also contributes to create income opportunity for the local people. So the restoration of the plantation has multiple benefits to the community. The plantation of mangrove can act as a windshield against storm surge or whatever it can cause hazard to the community. So as I mentioned, it has multiple benefits, protective and productive purposes. So as WFP, so we would like to contribute to this cause. Excellent partnership we have been enjoying with Sudeesa and Seacology. So this tripartite collaboration is, I think, considered as a model for us to continue to develop further in the future.
Expansion of Pambala Lagoon and mangrove gardens is very attractive. It's noteworthy to note that most mangrove varieties grow in this lagoon. Senior Program Advisor for Asia, Simon R. Holema, also shared his thoughts.
Well, I've heard a lot about this project, a lot of positive feedback. It's something else actually seeing it for yourself, seeing the mangroves and learning about all the 22 different species of mangroves that are there, seeing what the impact is, seeing the collaboration between the different institutions. It's in one word, it's very impressive, and I'm really impressed what I've seen so far. We've done this. All started with a study that we undertook more than a year ago, together with the government, on resilience, climate change, and resilience building through livelihoods and livelihood support. Now, one thing that came out of that study was particularly the coastal communities in the northern areas were having a very low resilience to climate change. And hence, based on that study, we explored on and having the linkage with program, and this is how we came to work particularly on mangrove forestry and re-establishing the mangrove forests, with an idea behind it to really build up the resilience of the local communities towards climate change and food security in particular. Now, just listening to you, it'd be very nice to meet some with the communities later on. The livelihoods and the way they support this, the small fisheries, the income opportunities that they have from mangrove forestry. It looks to me like a project that we could really make a lot of benefits for the coastal communities, and particularly in the conflict affected areas where I understand a lot of mangroves were cut to re-establish these livelihoods, restore them, and creating the sustainable livelihood and a food secure communities in the northern parts of the country. No organization can do good things on its own. We all have our expertise, we all have our experiences, we're all bringing in something, and together we are a lot stronger in achieving the objective that we want to achieve. And so this particular partnership with WFP coming in more from the angle of building resilience, livelihoods, but of course lacking the experience in terms of environment, mangrove forestry, that coming in from Seacology and from Sudeesa, you can see how partnerships, how that creates a much better impact at the community level and in these coastal areas.
They also inspect the self-employment initiatives of the women who obtain credit facilities. She's a beneficiary who engaged in a fishing net-related self-employment.
My name is Arul Prakasam Emeda. I am a member of Venpur Group, belongs to the Small Fishers Federation. I have obtained a loan of 10,000 rupees from WFP and Seacology project. I buy necessary materials to make fishing nets from that money. I sell those to fishermen. They give me a wage or pay me for my products. I can earn 10 rupees for a small net and 12 rupees for a big one. That income helps me to cover educational expenses of my children and fulfill the household needs. I now live a happy life. I have much benefited from the loan. If I make 100 nets, I may earn 1,000 rupees per day, a gain from my work during my leisure time, and I'll get more benefits in the future. I thank Small Fishers Federation.
She's another woman who runs a poultry farm.
I am Dinosha from a village of Vedithaltiu Mena. We received a loan of 10,000 rupees from WFP and Seacology. I had 5 hens and added 30 more, thanks to the loan. This gives much benefit to us. It helps us to fulfill some household needs. We also gain from the membership at Small Fishers Federation. We learned good practices from them. Savings is one among them. We save earnings from the sales of eggs. They taught how to protect the mangrove plants.
how UNESCO has declared a World Mangrove Day on the 26th of July each year, expressed by the Sri Lanka UNESCO Secretary General Ms. Dhammika Vijay Singha.
So I would like to introduce Mr. Vikram Singha and Dr. Karyavasam from Sudeesa Seacology, who are doing a very important project in Sri Lanka. This is very important in point of view of UNESCO, because UNESCO declared an International Mangrove Conservation Day, which is July 26th, recently at the General Conference held in November last year. So this is the very first project in the world which is dedicated to preserve mangroves, as well as to establish a mangrove museum. And this is in Negombo area. I would like to invite you also to visit it as the Secretary of the Ministry of Education, because this has a very important educational value. We could invite students also to visit this place and visit this mangrove museum, as well as to see what is being done there, because this is important from several points of view. The mangrove conservation, which in turn will protect the coastal area from erosion, and then livelihood development of the surrounding community, as well as social cohesion, which is a national importance at the moment.
The Secretary to the Ministry of Environment has pointed out the partnership with Seacology and Sudeesa to protect all of Sri Lanka's mangroves. We have a mangrove ecosystem of 15,000 hectares around our shores. These are very special ecosystems. Such ecosystems play a major role in preventing sea erosion and preserve biodiversity. But in the recent past, mangroves have been affected by certain activities of communities. Around 3,000 to 4,000 hectares of valuable plants are destroyed in the recent past. An institution called Sudeesa, which functions under the Ministry of Seacology of USA, will implement a project to safeguard mangrove ecosystems. The Sudeesa has initiated a program, established mangrove nurseries with the assistance of communities and state institutions like Sri Lanka Navy, sponsored by Seacology. It is also planned to carry out the activities in a broad manner with the participation of the Mahaweli Development Authority and two institutions which function under the Ministry of Environment, namely the Coastal Protection Authority and the Department of Coastal Conservation. Accordingly, a dedicated mangrove conservation museum will be inaugurated under the patronage of His Excellency the President. I think this would be a special moment which can be an exemplary to not only Sri Lanka but to the entire world. Life-giving eternal mangroves. It is our abandoned duty to protect all mangroves.